Hello and welcome to the third episode of the Unbox'd Mental Health Podcast. Today we have a wonderful guest. His name is Anirud. Please have a seat. So Anirud, it's great to have you. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Anirud.
Yeah.
I'm a third-year student at UC Davis. I'm studying biochemical engineering, and I hope to either get into the medical field through manufacturing of medicines or going to medical school.
That's really cool. So if you don't mind me asking, what sort of is your interest behind this career?
So part of my interest behind this career is being able to do service like the community, being able to help people who are ill. You know,
Definitely.
It's a really good thing to do. And my great aunt was a doctor as well, so she's part of one of the inspirations. And my mom's current career in manufacturing medicines and how her medicines have helped people, including my grandma, have been really inspiring for me.
It's really, really cool. So health is something that's always been around you growing up, and healthcare is something that you're very passionate about.
Yep.
So if you don't mind me asking, what does mental health mean to you? That's sort of something that's newer, that's more talked about nowadays. So what does mental health mean to you, Anirud?
So, my mental health journey has been pretty big, honestly, since quarantine.
Yeah.
Before quarantine, I was, and I still am a little bit, extremely shy. Yeah. I used to not be able to talk. I was not able to do things I wanted out of fear of failure, fear of just messing up in front of everybody. Mm-hmm. So one thing quarantine that was interesting for me is, as an introvert, I felt like I needed to be around people, which was a strange part of all of this, being an introvert. So I took steps to overcome these fears by journaling, writing down.
Those are very great, yeah.
Yeah. Before I go to an event that I'm anxious about, I just write about it. I get all my fears out of my mind and onto the paper. So it helps me think this isn't going to be so bad like I'm always thinking it will be. So I encourage myself by doing that. Another thing is surrounding yourself with the right people has been a important part of mental health. Right now, our other friends, they're the perfect people I consider as my friends.
So having a strong support system has been something that is very important to you and for your mental health journey.
Yeah.
So would you say that the people that you surround yourself is one of the biggest factors in how you perceive your mental health and how you value your mental health?
I would say yeah, because the people around you are a big influence. People can be negative, people who push you down and say you're not going to be able to do this, or just mock you straight up.
100%.
You need to surround yourself with people that are supporting your dreams, that would show out for you and not for anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Not because they see they can get something from you type stuff.
People that want the best for you.
Yeah, people that actually want the best for you.
And you can tell when people want the best for you just in their personality and what how they perceive you and perceive the things. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So if you don't mind going into greater detail, how did you find out this? You mentioned earlier that you would journal and that you would take these initiatives for your mental health. Where did this sort of come from? Did it come among yourself? Did someone tell you that, Andrew, you should do this? Did you see it on the internet? Where did these goals and initiatives, where do they come from?
So, having had gone through a lot of sad phases in quarantine, really lonely phases, which a lot of people have gone through.
Myself, of course, we've gone through it all.
Yep. I wanted to make a difference. I didn't want to keep on sitting around being sad about things. I wanted to try and get up and make that change in my life. So that being said, journaling, I kind of thought of it, to be honest. I furthermore saw on the internet, it was helpful. My parents also encouraged me a lot to journal my thoughts down. Even my grandpa actually journals too. And and so probably going into college, one of the biggest, my major has a lot of stress. The engineering major.
I can imagine.
It's I was not good at managing it, probably my first and second years, and maybe it paid a little bit on my GPA. Although I spent a lot of time studying, I wasn't able to focus up. I was always trying to I was never taking a break for my mental health. I was always just focused on school.
It's so critical to have that balance, to prioritize this, but then also make time for doing that.
Yeah, exactly. So one thing I did this year that's been different from the other years is I signed up for a sport that I love, which is swimming. I joined the swim club, and it's been a really enjoyable experience. And when I'm in that water, I feel like I'm relaxed. I feel like I'm able to like de-stress a little bit, I guess, from all the daily like grind of school with all the exams and everything. Just spending time with my family and friends have been a really important part of me taking care of my mental health. And just relaxing a little bit, taking it easy. When I'm not able to focus in school, I kind of just, I start using breathing techniques.
Wow, it's very powerful.
I meditate like a little bit and I get focused again, because I figured a lot of it, my personality was fully school, to be honest, like at some points in time, because this stress actually did not help me. It made me a lot worse than I was. I needed to learn to focus on school, care about it, but also take care of myself and not put myself down the drain in mental health terms.
Wow, kudos to you for taking these initiatives. That's something that is very important for someone, and especially in college, and taking these, realizing that, okay, my mental health wasn't in the best place. I was prioritizing school, not necessarily too much, but to the point where this is all I'm thinking about, and there's so much more to life that I could enjoy, being that I am 19, 20 years old. I need to go swimming,
Definitely.
I need to spend time with friends, spend time with family, because these are the things that are most important in life, and finding balance is critical. So I give you big props for taking those initiatives and realizing that it's so important to find a balance.
Thank you, Paul.
Yeah, and so, like you said, swimming, all of these extracurriculars that you sort of found yourself doing now, so you can noticeably feel a difference, not only in your mental health, but I'm sure in the way you feel physically, the way you wake up every morning, you feel motivated, better.
Happier,
Wow, that is great to hear. And I guess my next question is, what do you recommend students do, not necessarily students, but anyone watching the podcast right now, what do you recommend they do for their mental health? Say they're in a similar position that you were in, not too long ago. Say they're too stressed with school and they're still focused on their career in the future, and they just don't know what to do. They're overwhelmed and they're not seeing the production and the results that they want to see. What would you do, and what advice would you give to a person in that position?
So, for a person in that position, I guess someone who's getting really stressed about not being able to do good enough is just take a look at your lifestyle first. I mean, are you not like taking time to focus on yourself, focus on what makes you happy? Are you not taking time to do things that you truly enjoy that are outside of like all this stress? Clearing your mind, maybe walking around with nature, or just spending time with your family or friends, or just talking to people about it is the biggest like thing I would say. Because if you don't talk, like no one's gonna know, no one's gonna be able to help you. It's gonna just get worse as time goes by if you keep that inside of you, that bad mental health. You need to talk to someone about it. You can't keep holding that in. It's often in our society you have to hide your emotions, all that nonsense. Like it's all nonsense. You need to like talk to people. That's what your family, that's what your friends are for. You need to like really just don't think it's weak to ask for help from someone.
Definitely.
And
find your sense of community, because there's people who are willing to help, and that's what Unbox'd is willing to do. It's willing to listen to people and help them and give them that mindfulness support to say, you're not alone. You can rely on these mindfulness resources and techniques to help you. You need to go outside. You need to, take a break from all this stress that life throws at you. You are human after all, and you need to enjoy life. Because that's what it's all about. At the end of the day, yes, we want to be successful. Yes, we want to be good enough. But at some point, this is more of a validation thing. We don't need this validation. Life is short. And if you want to live life to the fullest extent, it does require, taking the initiative and going outside your comfort zone and trying new things. And going swimming and going on hikes and doing all of these things that you wouldn't typically do in this, dog-eat-dog world that we live in, especially with school, competitive school at Davis, and becoming a doctor. I'm sure that's highly competitive. But it takes, leaving this comfort zone and trying something new.
Yep, exactly. So one thing about the validation thing I would like to talk about is social media is like one of the biggest things that's like causing people to just want others' validation, not wanting their own, like what makes them happy. They want to like be like this person. They want to like, they see a person posting about something, they just want to be that, thing, because they may think it's cool, or
because it looks cool,
right?
Cool, yeah. But they don't understand, sometimes I feel like people don't understand through social media how difficult and how much work goes into something, and so they see the end result and they want it, but then once they don't and get the initial results, they get really sad, they get depression, and so social media, like you said, it not only creates a sense of like, I need to get validated because I see other people doing it, but then it could lead you to give your hopes up at an early stage because you don't prep yourself the way that you properly should, because you see it on social media, because you think it's easy, and because you see people around you achieving it. It's all about the hard work, it's about the process, and it's about, finding yourself within this process and not like looking, okay, I'm here and I want to get there. But you have to include all of the steps of getting there. And while this is like a rigorous process, you have to take breaks in between. You say you study all week, then you go swimming. You study, then you go for a hike. You study, and you spend time with friends and family. It's all about creating this balance. Yeah. And it's a process. Life is a process. And if you want to achieve, your career goals or whatever it is that you want to achieve, it's all about finding this balance.
Exactly. Time management is important. Don't always go on your phone. One thing I do when I'm studying or doing something important is I keep my phone in another room, so I actually get up and get it. That's great.
I should definitely start trying that.
Because I actually get up to get it, number one. Number two, I sometimes just tend to go on it. I broke a lot of habits, like with TikTok, for instance.
That's great.
I genuinely had like an addiction to the app starting from quarantine.
And it's so easy to get addicted. Yeah. It's just the instant gratification that you feel from just checking your phone once, and then you're looking at it, and then it turns into 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and then you lose your train of thought.
1 hour later, it won't even matter anymore.
Yeah, at that point.
Like, I made a lot of videos on TikTok, and then now it's like, what did it even mean? Like, it didn't really help anything in my life. No, it didn't really make me happy after a while. And this all
goes back to the sense of validation.
Exactly.
And social media. So I guess, it's a big point of social media and how it has these deleterious effects on the youth and teenagers and students, and how, at the end of the day, what is this all for? What are we so cooped up and worked up about?
Yeah.
It's like, very, very interesting and very
too much of anything. Yeah. Too much of anything is bad for you, Even if you like keep social media, it's a great way to stay in touch with like past friends or and things like that. But getting addicted to it, starting to like think likes, comments, I need all that stuff. I need my life to be like this person. That's where you need to draw the line. You need to use everything in a healthy way.
Be happy who you are.
Be happy who you are. Stop trying to be someone else.
No, don't be someone you're not. Yeah, 100%. Couldn't agree more with you. And
be yourself.
And just, one final question. As someone who is planning to be a doctor, do you see that mental health is something that will gain greater, recognition in the coming future? Mental health is obviously something that's very stigmatized. When someone says they have depression, they typically don't want anyone to know it, but it's just mental health in general. It's something that is very, keep it under the rug. Don't tell anyone about it because it is something that's bad, something that, it's someone's fault, as opposed to physical health. It's like very open. It's very, okay, let's talk about it. I have to disclose this. Do you see that mental health is something that will be, more talked about, less stigmatized in the future in the health sector?
As Unbox'd grows, for instance, I think just people learning to speak up on this, will motivate more people to speak up on this, on their mental health issues, stop hiding it in. So I would say yes. And as a doctor, I really want to take care of my patients' mental health if I become doctor as well. I really think mental health will become a bigger part of the future as organizations such as Unbox'd promote the positive nature of
mindfulness, and prioritizing mental health. Well, that was great. Do you have any send-away messages? I feel like we've covered a lot right now.
Be yourself. I know it sounds like a cat poster, but do it.
I love it. All right, thank you so much for your time, Anirud. And good luck on your endeavors.
You too.